goes back about 30 years, and at the time I had graduated from medical school. I was just working in the hospital, and then I moved into general practice, so it's sort of that relationship spanned 2 years, and I was 27 when I first met this guy and had pretty low self-esteem for a variety of reasons, and he made me feel like a princess. He was charming. Maybe 6 months into the relationship, he began to become violent. I was quite shocked at first when it happened. It sort of like was left field, and I was almost stunned and pretended it didn't happen. It wasn't every day, it was intermittent, but enough to keep you unsettled. I knew it wasn't right, but I was very ashamed and embarrassed about that relationship. Here I was, a 27, 28-year-old woman. I was a doctor, professional, and I was actually helping people, and here I couldn't even help myself. So it was very shameful. It was my dark secret that I shoved to the back of my mind and pretended it really wasn't happening. He'd put me down. My social circle of friends got very narrow. They were his friends. My friends got excluded. I used to play a lot of bridge. That stopped, and I was really isolated off. When it reached that point and I called the police, I'd gone to a barbecue, and I guess when we drove home, that's when he really blew his fuse and, hit me hard a number of times, and that's when I called the police. The fact is, for years and years and years, I was so angry at myself for what I had got myself into, and I would stand and shake. I couldn't even mention his name. Over time, that sort of dissipated, and as I said, I shoved it in the back of my mind and forgot about it. When I had that opportunity to talk about it, to help support the Shine organisation's helpline, it was actually difficult, but it was liberating at the same time. It was great. I was a member of parliament at that stage. I didn't know how people were going to respond, and I thought I might be ridiculed. People might have thought I was a failure, and when failure and politics don't go together. So I didn't know what to expect, but I remember a time in parliament and Ruth Dyson stood up. She acknowledged that I had actually told the story in one of the local magazines, and she acknowledged my courage in doing so. I thought that was brilliant, really brilliant. And I couldn't have foreseen that I would end up in the Equal Employment Opportunities role, and also, importantly, Human Rights Commissioner for Women. I mean, that was something so, you couldn't have predicted that. But as one thing leads to another and doors open, this role came up and I knew I had to give it a go. The fact that I have this background, I think, has really helped me in my role. The social media campaigns that are happening, like It's Not Okay and White Ribbon, are great. And I think it's fantastic. We're getting some sort of preventative education going in some schools, and I think that should be rolled out widely. And I think if we can just put out there what are healthy relations, what are respectful and healthy relations, that's a great start. Domestic violence hasn't any favourites. It crosses all social and cultural barriers and boundaries and strata. No one is immune from domestic violence. It could happen to anyone, and that is the issue. So where I was from 30 years ago to now, self-esteem, I feel good about myself. When I was in that relationship, he said, "You're old and you're fat, you'll never have children." I've got the two most beautiful, gorgeous girls, and I've got an amazing husband. I just want any woman or girl in that situation to actually be honest with themselves, be really honest, dig deep. Is this right? You know it's not right. Do something about it. Get help, and you can and will move on with your life.